What's good, everybody? We are back with another Call of Duty Mobile video. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. So as you guys most likely know, yesterday we did get the official beta for Call of Duty Mobile Season 9, which included the new Gunsmith feature, which is going to add just a whole lot of versatility to the game because it added such a large number of attachments and everything else like that. So basically, for the last however long, instead of just pumping out videos constantly, I've been testing out a lot of these to try to figure out what some of the best attachments are going to be, and also whether or not the attachments actually do anything. So I can say there are some attachments that have a really big effect, some attachments that don't really seem to have any effect at all. Now, this could very well change from now until the time this is released into the game, because keep in mind, this is the beta, but I wanted to go over some of the attachments that I had found that I would say will probably break the game if they don't get changed, and some that more than likely will end up staying the same, but are specific to specific guns, which makes them very unique. So we're going to be checking out some of those as well. Before we hop into the video, make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to go ahead and hop into it. So the first gun that I did any type of comparative attachments with was the ICR, primarily just because I feel like it's one of the few assault rifles that isn't very high on the damage side, and I feel like the attachments that people are going to be most likely to try out are going to be the ones that are going to increase damage for specific guns. I feel like for the most part, that is what is going to affect the gun the most, so while obviously ADS speed, movement speed, and different stuff like that is important, overall, what most people end up looking at is the actual damage of the gun. I feel like when most people talk about what the best gun in the game is, the one stat that they primarily look at is the time to kill, which is the amount of time that it takes for a gun to kill somebody at a bunch of different ranges. So we went ahead and threw on one loadout with basically all the most damage output attachments, and then we did one loadout that was primarily just to test ADS speed. So you would have one loadout that was definitely built more for close range combat and being able to react quickly, and the other one just straight damage to see if it would actually make any type of a difference. One cool thing to note within the entirety of the whole Gunsmith thing is that, yes, you do have 10 slots that you can now put loadouts into, but you also have something new called blueprints that will allow you to save specific loadouts for specific guns so that you don't have to go back and rebuild it all over again. This is definitely going to be super useful now, given the fact that we can use 10 attachments rather than 3. Obviously, currently, we can technically use 4, but I don't typically count a scope as an attachment. The fact that you can actually save these as blueprints makes it a lot easier, so you can have a damage, you can have an ADS time blueprint for the ICR, you can have a straight-up movement speed blueprint for the ICR, so many different possibilities with this new update, and it's just going to absolutely break the game whenever it's released globally. But anyway, as far as specific attachments go for the ICR that would increase damage, there are actually different attachments that some assault rifles will have that other assault rifles will not. That's also something that we have not had in the past. So you can see right here, the ICR actually has the large caliber magazine A. That's supposed to increase the magazine capacity, the damage range, and also the damage. So if you look at the damage stat in the top left of the stats, it says that damage is actually boosted from a 40 to a 60, which means technically you should have approximately a 50% increase in damage. So we'll see whether that actually comes into play whenever we test it out in the game. That's one of the attachments that's definitely going to play a big factor if it actually does what it says it's supposed to. You can see this is my ICR recoil loadout. So if we go on over to my ICR damage loadout, we're going to see it's still at 60 damage, which is interesting because the monolithic suppressor is supposed to increase damage range. Statistically, it says that our range is still at 52, so I'm not sure what the reasoning behind that one is. It also says that the OWC Marksman Long Barrel is supposed to increase damage range as well, but that's still stuck at 52, so those may be two attachments that are just glitched for right now because they don't really seem to be changing anything. Outside of that, most of our attachments are just affecting ADS speed and making that faster, so most of the rest of the stuff shouldn't really impact stuff. We're going to have one damage loadout for the ICR and one non-damage loadout just to test and see if these new attachments do anything. So you can see right here, we do have number one, our ICR damage loadout, and then we've also got our ICR recoil loadout. We're going to go ahead and test out the damage loadout first, both at close range and long range. Keep in mind, our ICR recoil loadout does not have any attachments that are supposed to boost either the range or the damage of the gun, so depending on what the test results show, we'll be able to decide if these attachments do actually impact it. So, point blank chest shot. 1, 2, 3. Looks like a 4 shot. Yep, so based on the statistics, it has increased the damage a little bit. The ICR has never been able to 4 shot before, so that's something significant to note. Now we're going to test just how far back that 4 shot range goes. So 1, 2, 3, that will definitely be a 4 shot. You could see it was at 50% health whenever we were right here. So if we check the range real quick. All right, we're at about 10 meters right now. Wow, it's still 4-tapping, and we're at 19 meters right now. Holy crap. We're still going to 4-tap, and we're at... Wow, we're at 21 meters. All right, we're going to keep backing it up. We're still 4-tapping at 25 meters. Okay, this might actually be broken. All right, we finally found a range where we can't 4-tap 32 meters. Holy... Okay, I think this is the longest distance at which you can 4-tap with it. So, all right, so it looks like about 25 meters is the distance at which you can 4-tap with the ICR with our damage attachments. Just for context, in the current state of the ICR, the most damage that it does is up to about 11 meters. It does 24, which means it's still going to take 5 shots to kill somebody. The nice thing about it is it does have really consistent range, so even up to 35 or actually 40 meters, you're still going to be able to 5-tap someone. But with this damage loadout, you can actually 4-tap somebody up to 25 meters, which is insane. All right, we're going to switch to our recoil loadout. All right, now that we got our recoil loadout actually on, 1, 2, 3. Looks like it's still going to 4-tap up close. That's very interesting. So what we may have actually learned is that the ICR just got buffed or something. Okay, we're still 4-tapping with the ICR, and we don't have any damage increased loadouts. Okay, we finally found the range at which we can't 4-tap, so I feel like one of these attachments has got to be glitched because the ICR has never been able to 1-tap before. You know what? Let me just make an ICR loadout with no attachments. All right, point blank ICR, no attachments. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It's still 4-tapping, so apparently they buffed the crap out of the ICR. Yep, still 4-tapping, still 4-tapping, and still 4-tapping. Alright, we finally found the range at which we're not going to 4-tap. That range is going to be 20 meters. Okay, so while some of the new attachments are definitely increasing the range, I'm not seeing any actual increase in damage from any of them, so definitely be aware of that. It'll be interesting to see whether or not that is something that's going to change going into the actual release of this into the game. Like I said, most guns are going to have some attachments that other guns don't have, so one attachment that I found that is actually glitched, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that it's glitched, this is 100% glitched, is the 10mm 30-round magazine for the QQ9. So if you look down at the range, our range with this attachment is boosted up to a 676. If I go ahead and switch over to my QQ9 small bullets loadout, you'll see our range is automatically decreased down to 36. The only thing being changed is we now have a 45-round mag instead of using the 30-round mag with that specific attachment. So if we go ahead and hop into a game, you guys will see just how broken this is. Once again, just for context, typically the QQ9 only is going to do 25 damage per bullet up to about 5 or 6 meters, and then after that we see some pretty significant drop-off, but you guys are going to see whenever we hop into this game. We'll go on over to Crossfire. Just for proof of the stats real quick, 1, 2, you're going to see that's going to go ahead and knock him down to 50% health, so doing 25 damage per shot. We back it up a little bit. We're still using the 10mm attachment right here. 1, 2, still down to 50% HP. We're going to back it up a little bit more. Keep in mind, supposedly, that attachment gives us 676 range on our gun. 1, 2, down to 50 HP from that range as well. Keep in mind, this is the fastest firing gun in the game. 1, 2, still down to 50 HP. And now, just in case any of you didn't believe that it was going down to 50 HP or that it was actually doing the amount of damage that it said that it was. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots across the map with the fastest firing gun in the game. That's right. This new attachment turns the QQ9 into a cross-map 4-shot. Now, obviously, this is the beta, so more than likely this is just a glitch that's going to be fixed. But as you can see, there are definitely going to be some attachments that have more impact on guns than others, and this was kind of my proof of concept for that. I was messing around with guns last night and just testing out the QQ9. I was like, wow, this is adding a lot of range. How far back can I go? And I kept going back, and it didn't change the damage at all. So hopefully that's something that's going to be changed before it's actually implemented into the game. But obviously, there's still lots to be discovered within this new Gunsmith feature, and I'm definitely looking forward to testing it all out and seeing how this is going to actually change the game and what attachments are actually going to be best. I think this is going to create a lot of opportunities for content in everybody, and also just a lot higher skill gap based on your knowledge of the game, which is always a good thing in my opinion. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.